And Todd, that's recording down there, right? Cool. Hello. You won't hear the B-roll we shot there.
Are we on?
We're back.
Is it live?
We're live.
I think Dan was like snapping his fingers or something. Let me do my intro so I can get that music out of here. Jared Poland, FronosPhoto.com. Welcome back to RAWtalk, episode number 233. We didn't do last week or the week prior because we've been super duper busy.
No, we only skipped 1 week.
We only skipped 1 week?
Yeah, only 1 week.
I don't even remember anymore.
But we will have to skip next week.
Well, next week's a holiday.
It's a holiday. Kind of.
It's Black Friday.
Yeah. Biggest holiday of the year.
Yeah, we'll have a sale coming up for you people, and by you people, I mean you people out there in the world.
Yep. Looking
for some sales. It's gonna start Thursday at 8 o'clock. So right after you're done eating.
What's that?
That's turkey.
Oh, okay.
Right after you're done eating gobble gobble gobble. Yeah, you can then
gluten-free stuffing.
We'll have FronosPhoto.com/Black Friday. To be honest, I think it may be up now. The code will be Fro50 off.
It probably is. It's actually usually up early.
You know what? The code actually is active right now. So if you go use the code on any of the video guides, it's Fro50 off.
Yeah, please go spend that. Go buy that now. I got to buy Morgan presents soon, so hurry up.
It's 50% off?
Yeah.
You usually do like something weird, like 49 or 51 or something like that.
It just made it easier to just do it.
Oh, for sure.
It's just like...
But I've never seen you do just a straight up like 50 or 25% or something like that.
I've actually done the Fro50 off before.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so last year it was Fro50 off for 3 of the guides, and the video editing guide was 26% off. But being that's been out for 2 years, we've done it. It's now, they're all 4 of them are 50% off.
So Morgan will get less. She won't eat as much this.
Let's make sure we get out there. What's the website again?
FronosPhoto.com/Black Friday. Man, we haven't picked that up in a long time.
Have fun picking that up, Todd.
That's how I'm totally paying for that bullshit ticket.
There you go.
I am taking a cash Canon in with 75 ones or pennies.
No one has any idea what you're talking about.
Oh, I know. I'm very upset about it.
I can tell.
It was could have been.
Jared got a ticket.
It could have been the building got a ticket. It could have been
AKA you.
Moonbeam. What if it was Moonbeam's Revenge?
Could have been Moonbeam.
Hashtag Moonbeam's Revenge.
Well, explain what happened now. You got to tell
hold on. I'll explain in a second. By the way, guys, stick around. The last segment of the show is going to be live Q&A. Live Q&A. That means we're going to keep it in the show. You get to stick around for probably 15 minutes at the end. We're going to go through the comments as you guys are doing that. Super Chat is actually active.
Yeah.
I enabled it. If you guys want to spend money and... You can spend up to $500.
What does that do? It
like
jumps their comment at the top.
Send me money?
What happens is it puts their comment.
Where's our cut?
That's what I'm saying.
It puts their comment in it highlights it for X amount of time, and then I can go back later and check it. Now we're not checking that during the show, but when we get on live, when we get and we take the laptops out, when we tell you you're going to see us, and we'll do it live. And you can ask your question. If you want to do Super Chat, I've never used Super Chat. I just figured we'd turn it on if somebody wants to use it. By all means, hi, my name is Jared.
Hi.
Nice upside down name tag.
That's how I wore it at the
SONY
event,
the entire time.
which we'll talk about in a second.
Yep.
So the story, the day before I left, I saw a ticket from the city, or a letter from the city, and I opened it up, and it's like a $75 ticket for... The weeds are over 8 inches high.
This is on the outside of your fence around.
Nobody knows. They didn't specify. No, the ticketing agent.
Phone call. Wonder who that is.
Yeah, hi. This is hi. This is the Philadelphia Ticket Agency. I just wanted to check in to make sure your weeds are only 1 inch tall. But the ticket is actually for your hair. We thought that was a weed, so you want to cut that?
It's actually really hard to understand that thing.
So
Todd's new toy is megaphone.
So on the $75 ticket, which they hit us with once before we even moved in. The ticket said something like, "Weeds must be below 8 inches. Maintain your property." And I look out there and I go, I weed whacked all the grass. That's not growing. We've got a garden that is dead because it's winter now. What are you talking about? Well, and what about the heroin needles that we picked? Dan, did you see the heroin box I bought? I didn't realize it was going to be enough for about 4,000 needles.
You bought a heroin box? Explain, please. Clarify.
Do you know when you go to the hospital and they have those red
like needle
dispensers?
Yeah, man.
Well, I bought one.
Yeah.
I bought one, and I bought gloves, rubber gloves to go with it. But I didn't realize that the dispenser was as wide as this iPad and as big as the iPad.
You'll probably still fill it up in like a week here.
So I don't know if like when I go and I
put my donuts in there, you know what I'm saying?
I already disputed the ticket and sent it back.
Yeah.
And the woman called while we were at the airport the other day, and she was just calling.
Don't shoot the messenger. Yeah.
Like I didn't. You heard what I said to her.
Yeah, you were very nice.
You're just calling because you got a message.
It's not her fault. Yep.
You know, it's not your fault, but we beautified the neighborhood. Dan has done a great job with the garden. We have security cameras. The building has a nice purple door.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Purple door.
You should be fined for that, if anything. You should be fined for that.
But something tells me, I'm not even going to say it just in case they're watching.
But
it's
the city?
Just super odd. No, it's just super odd that out of nowhere, the ticket enforcement agent guy decides to show up and write a ticket out of nowhere when there's 8 trillion construction sites breaking the rules right now on the street, and we've maintained. I didn't like the tone. Not that I can read the tone of maintain your property. Nothing pisses me off more than that bullshit. So I called and I'm like, yeah, hi, I maintain my property. You know. Anyway, we should get into the photo
let's
stuff.
move on.
This is the iPhone X.
10.
And by X, I mean 10.
Don't say X.
So I got this the day before we went away up in New York. So we've got this to test out, to do a real-world review of. That's the idea. That's the plan.
Do you know how long you have it for?
No, we're not going anything about any of that.
Okay.
It's just I have the phone.
Okay.
So that's the secret.
Okay.
So it's new. It's shiny. I'm sure you've seen somebody with it by now. It's nice. In terms of cameras, we went to Sedona, which I'll talk about in just a second, and I didn't really shoot very much or anything with it.
Well, I mean, when you have an A7R III and an iPhone 10, I think you're going to use the better camera.
And you're going to use the iPhone 10.
The only way to force me to actually use this, to use a phone or any product, is if that's all I've got.
Yeah.
And we're going out to specifically focus on using this.
Of course.
But if I got something else in my hands, which I tend to do, I'm going to use it. So this is the iPhone X. What do you guys think about testing it? The difference in cameras, they added a second lens is image stabilized, so they're both stabilized.
What do you think so far? Just
the
after
phone
a week
in general?
of using it.
Roughly. You know, the facial thing doesn't work when I'm laying in bed like this and my face is smushed.
It works with your glasses, though, but not with sunglasses?
It works with my sunglasses.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. We heard that on the bus the other day. But no, it works with my sunglasses without a problem.
Good, because your sunglasses don't work in general for me. I think you should get new ones.
I've found that a lot of people are complaining that if the Face ID doesn't work, you still have to wait like a second or two until then the code pops up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a 2-3 seconds until you can finally unlock your phone.
It's not that slow, in my opinion.
That's what I've seen from other YouTubers and reviewers.
Sure.
So far.
Sure. I mean, it's unlocking now every time. You know, you can see that it just unlocks and you swipe it. The one thing I absolutely don't like that constantly happens, when I'm trying to swipe right in my email, my hand constantly hits this new email button. My palm does, because I'm left-handed, so I use my right hand with the phone. And that's what constantly happens. Also, I don't like that I have to, in iOS 11, or in this phone, pull down from the top to get Control Center. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to just swiping up from the bottom.
Well, it's usually close. You don't have to reposition your entire hand.
Yeah,
to then
now I've got
to
slide up to here.
Swipe down, I mean.
To slide down from here instead of just going, like this. But that's how you get to the home screen.
Yeah, first world problems, for sure.
Yeah, first world. Shut up, Steven. I'm going to take my jacket off. I'm getting mighty steamed.
Ooh, hey. This is just like Photo News Fix when you took your jacket off.
That was good, right?
That was good.
Hey. So, the big news, the big news this week is that we spent 4 days in Sedona, Arizona, thanks to Sony, who had a press trip.
We actually went on a Sony press trip.
Sony press trip.
Shocked.
They invited us.
Was that by mistake? Like they added you to the email, and they were like, "Oh,
well, it was pretty last minute. I'll tell you that."
The original email was actually for Chris Gambit.
Oh, gotcha. They're like, "Hey, Chris, this is
like
Chris, but what's this about?"
Whoa, what do you mean, Chris? who, by the way, if you look at my Instagram, he took that picture of me running.
Yeah.
Which seems, I think the secret to my Instagram is don't post photos that I take, just post photos of me.
There you go.
Or photos other people take because they might be better.
Right. That's right, Todd. Exactly. Gambit took a better photo.
He had a lot of pro photo gear with him, and he was doing a lot of strobes and stuff like that.
Trying to, yeah.
Was he
trying
from
to sync up
Pro Photo?
with the
Because I have
mechanical
the shirt
shutter.
back here.
No, he wasn't from Pro Photo
101.
Though don't give him any ideas.
So can we please like frame that? Actually, put like a glass frame around that and hang it up because that is the start
plaque.
of the website.
You know, that's funny, Steve.
You should.
I will take that over to the framer
With
and
the
make
fro.
it.
We should just hang it from the rafters like it's a.
Put a spotlight on it.
No, you mean like it's retired?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
a
exactly.
hockey jersey.
Yeah,
Like the
we'll have
arena.
a retirement session and
I could
video.
see framing that with a picture of me from it.
I mean, we should retire your regular cloth issue Raw shirts because you only wear the super tight ones now.
So let's talk about how a Sony press trip comes to play. And by the way, if you've got questions and comment, please put them in the comment section now, but know that we're not reading them during the show, and YouTube actually doesn't leave them there after the show, so you get to re-put them in when the show is live taped.
I'd probably repeat them at the end.
But definitely when we say we're on, say your question, but don't repeat it 87 times. So how a Sony Press, what a Sony Press event is, they bring like DP Review, Rishi was there.
Yep.
And Corey, right? Corey?
I think.
Yeah, so Rishi
I'm terrible at names,
from
so.
DP Review. You've got Chris Gambit. You've got this David Schloss, this guy Jim.
Jim
a lot
Fisher.
of people were there. So
Camera Store TV
Luminous
guys.
Landscape, which I've honestly never seen the website.
Luminous Landscape. We had Max.
We'll see you inside the Luminous Landscape.
Oh, is that what they say?
That's exactly what they say, Todd. And
And we'll see you inside the guy.
That's what I kept
inside
saying.
some guys. And so so they bring together all these people in a really cool place. We show up. They give you an entire setup. You get
You had an entire arsenal to choose from. It was great.
Well, I got
tables laid out and so
they were recommending that people use the 24 to 105, which I didn't want to touch.
Well, because if you're going to bring one lens, that's probably the one you're bringing.
Right. So I got an A7R3 with a battery grip.
Yep.
Did you get a grip too?
I did.
Yeah. So we both got
They let
A7R3s.
Steven shoot?
I shot video. Jared shot stills.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Well,
Yes.
that makes
which
more
we're not
sense.
showing yet. But A7R3 with a grip with 2 batteries. They gave us a 64 gigabyte card, which I ended up putting a second card in because they didn't give us 2 for redundancy. My lens choices.
We were allowed to keep that card, right?
Yeah, they didn't ask for it.
Okay,
back.
because I kept it.
Yeah.
Mine's in my pocket.
I took the 12 to 24 lens, the 24 to 70 G Master, and the 70 to 200 G Master. What lenses did you choose?
So I picked out their 28 to 135 powered zoom cinema lens, which I didn't even know they had.
I borrowed it once.
So my eyes lit up when I saw that, and it's a powered zoom, Todd. It has OSS built in, clickless aperture. It's beautiful. And
Really?
it's
What's
big.
that
It's a
go
big.
for? What's it go for?
He was telling me like
2500.
25. Yeah, big chunk of glass. It's definitely heavy, but it's not your brother.
It's not that heavy.
It's heavier than a normal lens.
Well, it's
I'd say.
heavier than
what
my
was the
brother,
range
but
on it?
The range is 28 to 135 in full frame.
It's a big range.
It's a pretty good range. It's not ultra wide, but
fixed
it's good
aperture?
enough. Fixed f4, which is great.
That ain't bad.
Now the only thing I didn't
That
like
ain't
is it has a giant filter thread, a 95 millimeter filter thread, so
Right.
it is a huge piece of front end glass. But yeah,
Wow.
and then what was that?
I got to block that number.
Okay.
That's that one from before.
Oh, okay. Random
ahead.
phone
No,
call.
just keep
Squirrel. But yeah, great lens. I used it the entire trip. The powered zoom is super cinematic, nice push in or pull, or all that stuff.
Nice.
And I used the A7R3 and had the general same Sennheiser lav mics that we use with everything.
Yeah.
And just ran around with that. I had a 24 to 105 and a 16 to 35 as backup just in case if I wanted to go ultra wide or just another lens. But it was a great trip. We had so many things that we did. So talk about that.
So it's great that they bring all these people together in a cool location
A lot of
without
awesome
cell phone
people.
coverage.
Great creators, yeah.
No cell signal for
So
a while.
no
Jared
cell
called me
coverage.
a couple times. Hey,
No cell coverage, and the Wi-Fi was
One.
like not even 1 megabyte download,
One.
and not even half of that for upload.
I got a faster connection when I went into the Sony room closer to where the main facility was.
so I did a speed test on that later, and it didn't go.
Still didn't do well.
No, maybe not as many people were connected to that. I don't know.
So let's talk about what we did. We had what was the first thing we shot?
First thing we shot was the hot air balloon, I believe.
Okay, so we had a choice between doing a hot air balloon or a hike, and so the hot air balloon kind of won out. Oh, I guess Dan's showing a picture of a hot air balloon.
Yeah, this is one of your pictures of the hot air balloon.
Which I took, and if you see the halo around the balloon, we had to edit these in Capture One. And I've never used Capture One.
Lightroom doesn't support the A7R 3 RAW file just yet.
Gotcha. And so out of Capture One, I exported DNGs thinking I could open them in Lightroom, and they opened, but the color shift was... Something was wrong.
Yeah.
Like it looked like I was cross-processed my negatives and you couldn't fix it, but black and white would work. So I edited, there's a picture of the landscape, Dan, a black and white with the mountain in the background and the thing. And so I edited this one in Lightroom because I could get rid of the color, obviously make it black and white. I edited the same exact one in Capture One, and I had this huge halo around it.
Yeah, it was a big distinct...
The halo was around what? The mountain?
Yeah.
Correct. It was like an HDR effect
and
halo.
Around the balloon.
Really?
Check it out around the balloon.
Yeah.
And I'm not making fun of the software. I'm sure that a lot of people love the software. I just don't know to use it, and nobody could help me out on it yet.
We're very new to the software, so I checked to think... I thought maybe it was your way of processing because you boomify the clarity and the contrast and everything.
No, we pulled that.
But we pulled it out, and it seemed fine.
Dan, show some of the other balloon shots. Like, there's a couple that I was inside the balloon. The guy burning the fire. But anyway, the balloon was super sweet, super cool. I'm waiting for Dan. I'm waiting.
We're waiting.
There it is. So the guy's like, you could go in the balloon, and I'm like,
you go gym class when you have the
Yeah,
the parachute. The parachute.
That was fun.
So I got to go in the balloon. This is with a 12 to 24. I shot at this one, I believe, at 4,000 ISO. Haven't had a chance to super duper look at most of the images, but there were a couple that we edited that we'll get. Is there another balloon shot, Dan, where he's shooting fire at me?
So this is also we're maybe like 25 feet away from this flame. Yeah. He's like, you guys can get closer. You could just you could bet like max of like 15 feet away from the flame, and I'm like, I'm good.
No,
there's giant flame in front of me.
No,
I'm okay.
And so it was a sunrise balloon trip. So we got there right before sunrise.
Yeah.
They set up the balloon.
Beautiful.
They took 12 people plus the propane tanks and the pilot guy.
Yeah.
And so there were 12 people in the damn balloon.
In one basket.
In
so
one basket?
Basically the basket was split into, it was like a big square split into fours.
It was like a tic-tac-toe.
Each person, there was
wasn't a
3 people in each square. So think of it that way.
Really?
And it was
up
tight.
to 16. So there were four squares on each side.
It was so tight where like we couldn't even reach down to grab a lens or switch anything out.
I brought my bag.
So
yeah, on my side it was a little.
So not everybody had like edge.
Everybody had edge.
Shoot at the
No,
edge?
they were still all around the edge of the basket.
So everybody had like
a great
a
advantage,
little space
advantage
on the end
point.
of the basket.
Oh yeah, everybody
That's
had
cool.
good space. Plus the balloon turns and stuff. It was really interesting. Never been in a hot air balloon before.
It was breathtaking. It really was. Just to go
hour
up,
and 40 minutes in the balloon.
beautiful
Really?
day. It got to the point where we could actually enjoy it. For
We'll
once.
take our jackets off.
It got so
Well,
hot,
dude.
Did it?
Because
Dude.
I wasn't under the heat shield. Right underneath. Hey Dan, could you pop up the picture of the balloon with the guy burning the fire thing? We'll see if the heat shield is shown. Right below the propane. No, the other one from outside the balloon.
side one.
Yeah, that.
that one.
There's a heat shield right underneath, so it blocks the heat. Well, I was on the outside of the basket, and it felt like my hair was singeing.
So basically what the heat shield does is it kind of protects right here, but it goes then on the side.
Yeah.
So me and Jared on the edge of the basket were just
That's why
getting
your
hit
hair
with
looks lopsided today,
an insane
Jared.
amount of heat.
No, it's lopsided because I haven't been able to.
We kept joking that
redo
there's
it.
a giant bald spot now because just hair got singed off.
It's right there. Don't try to cover it up. Comb it over.
But yeah, it started off, it was probably like 40 degrees when we first got on the balloon.
Yeah.
And then it got to be like 80
60,
something.
70 degrees.
But with the heat on top of that.
Well, and
we're
2
bundled
jackets
up.
on.
I
And
gloves, everything.
The camera store guys were on the same balloon. We shared a lot of beef this week because people think we have beef because of that one video they posted.
Yeah. No, they're great.
I can tell you there is zero beef. Well, actually, no beef between us. Oh, I'm sorry. There's no beef between us and the camera store guys. They are a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
And so we have a good time every time we see them. So that's one of the cool things about these events is you get to hang out with other creators, other writers.
Influencers,
And the food
everything.
is
People
really
that take
good.
better pictures that you can post on your Instagram. I mean, that's always a plus.
Yeah, the food was good. Really good.
Yeah.
Food was really. So we also took a helicopter ride.
Oh, yeah.
We've done that before. Maverick helicopters
Twice.
we've used in
Vegas, over the Strip.
which use a much bigger helicopter. Now they use
And
these,
you're harnessed in and you can actually lean out.
Yeah, I felt a little
Unsafe.
There was one belt
Look at that
across.
stud.
Oh yeah,
Ooh, who's
I took
that
a picture
hot?
of Steven because I really
me.
didn't feel comfortable shooting. Well,
You
to
didn't
be
feel
honest,
what? You didn't feel what?
comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable shooting outside of it. But what's interesting is there wasn't much to shoot. We knew this going into it, that it's a
Sure.
bunch of rocks.
The way they were flying around the rocks, it was really difficult to try and straighten out the horizon or any. It was just so quick.
And I'm not making fun of the rocks. I think that it's a great. What, Dan? What? That's funny, Dan. Thanks. So much for being quiet.
All right, go on. Continue.
Anyway, I was flying. It would be a great sightseeing trip if you weren't there to shoot photos.
Yep.
To see everything. I think the things that they showed us, like the Three Sisters and all of those rock formations, look so much cooler from the ground.
I agree.
And the
More
colors.
epic.
Right. So from the air, it's cool, but it wasn't really photo worthy.
Now with the hot air balloon shoot though, I think the cool thing about that was the perspective and all the other hot air balloons in the sky.
Yeah,
that's what made that shot, that whole shoot really, really cool.
And I'm sure you guys will have questions about the A7R III. So get those when we go with the live chat at the end.
The thing that scared me about the helicopter ride was that we were literally like strapped in with like a normal like school bus seatbelt.
Yes.
Really,
well,
really.
It was still a latch.
It was a latch,
but
it wasn't even like a.
Well, I had one
on the
across.
shoulders.
I had one across.
Oh, I didn't. I just had a latch on the bottom.
That's because they weren't worried about you, Steven.
See, I didn't.
They didn't even check. Like when you ride a ride at like a carnival, they like double check you're like buckled in. Didn't even double check.
I didn't like, and that I don't know if you saw me creeping towards the middle more.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, yep, nope.
Jared gets so scared when we do these things.
Yeah, but when I was harnessed in with the other people, I would lean out.
Yeah, well, that's because we were really.
In this case, I wasn't going to lean out because I didn't feel comfortable doing it.
I did start leaning out, and then I realized like how loose my seatbelt was, and then I'd probably fall out. So yeah, I stopped leaning out.
As you can tell, they took us into hot air balloon. They took us to a helicopter. We did some nighttime photography.
We did.
You did.
I did astrophotography
I went back to work
for 2 nights.
I should have shown you you should have given him the picture that you took when you came back to the room the other night.
Oh yeah.
I was just editing.
We don't have a picture on the live stream, but basically I walk in the room after
I'll post
astrophotography.
it on Instagram.
Jared will post it on Instagram. I walk in, and the way this place is laid out is there's a table right when you walk in, like a computer desk. Jared's got his laptop up. He's only got his underwear on.
Yes.
So I walk in, the laptop, the way you look at it when you walk in is it looks like it's basically covering up his junk, and he's naked. So I'm like, dude, are you naked?
I'm like, no, man. I'm just waiting for you to come
so
back.
So I made him take a picture. We were like goofing around. There's a picture.
I was just watching cooking videos.
Exactly.
No, I was editing.
Cooking with
editing
Jared videos.
So we did some nature stuff. That's where the photo. What?
I do want to get back to the astrophotography shoot real
ahead.
quick because we actually got to hang out with the guy, Drew. He's a big astrophotography time-lapse guy, or time-lapse guy in general. He actually shot the intro of House of Cards, the entire intro. So he told us how he did that. He told us how to actually do time-lapses with the A7R Mark III. So he set up a whole slider shot for me. The unfortunate part is that once the camera was moving and we set everything up, he actually forgot to plug in the intervalometer. So my camera wasn't even firing for the first half of the slide.
Yeah.
I will include it in the review that eventually we did plug it back in. It did get half that slide, but it's going to be a very, very quick astrophotography time lapse. But great guy. All the people that came out for the trip for the astro shoot were awesome.
Yeah, and they had the landscape people to help. They were great. Lots of tips and tricks and
ton of tips.
The Dan, show the barn again. This was they took us out to this sunset shoot, and they took us to the classic Sedona photo, and we walked over there, and I was like, really? This is the classic Sedona?
So the issue was that there was a lot of overgrown weeds, kind of like your garden.
Or trees.
Did they get a ticket?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
a lot of trees, a lot of overgrown weeds. So the actual vantage point was not great. So Jared and I actually went off the beaten path to a different place, and we got this shot.
Yeah.
And I think this is a much better composition.
what is that in the foreground? Is that
it's like an old barn or shed or something, but it looked so cool.
Yeah.
So we framed that up, and it looks incredible.
I'm not a super fan of landscapes, but
I think that foreground element though makes that photo personally.
Steven really liked this spot.
Oh yeah, I did.
So next up, there was they called it Cowboys and Cars. It was a Cowboys and Cars shoot where they had cowboys
and cars
and horses.
Weird.
So this is a girl dressed like 1950s style.
Yeah,
They had lighting. They had like the big, Todd, what size is this? The LED, the blue light. That
There's the RE light. Or
like a 5K, a 10K, 18K.
I mean, it could be a 12K, 18K.
I think it was like an 18K, to be honest with you.
Basically,
you were lighting up your life.
They lit up the entire shoot like it was like a movie set. Yeah,
wow.
Which made it better for photos.
It was incredible. Yeah.
So this is one photo. This was one scene.
That's a nice picture.
Yeah. Next, I don't know. That was something else I did.
It's all about the details.
Yeah, details. Keep going, Dan. Then there was this guy.
You loved him.
I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I was just like, look at this guy. He's so hot. He's like an Adonis. I'm like, I need to shoot some more photos of this guy. No, he cracked an awesome smile. Dan, keep going. So, well, that was just like a truck, and there was a girl in the truck.
That's dope right there, though.
I love that shot personally.
I really like that.
I like the framing too.
He looks like the man.
Well, the best part is you can actually see her blurred out in the background, and she's smiling, looking like they're just road tripping down the street. So I mean,
keep going, Dan.
That tells it all.
Is there
right
a headshot? Well, not a. Yeah. Keep going.
I think that is it. Actually,
no, I gave him more. Oh. I put more into the folder.
Okay, well that's all I got.
Well, I put more in the folder for a reason.
Oh, that's all I saw.
Yeah,
in the folder.
But I truly put in more. I put in like 7 more before
of that
the show.
guy.
Well, show all the ones of that scene. There was one of him vertical standing at the truck.
Oh, that's all. That's all I put in. Yeah, because that's all we had.
No, we didn't. I put them all in the Dropbox.
I mean, I refreshed it and I didn't see it. So.
Well, maybe you can throw them on your Instagram.
Yeah, we'll throw them on the Instagram or something after.
Instagram so people can see them.
Yeah.
So the problem I ran into with the IAF was I love the IAF. I love that it can help find the eye.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue was it looked like it was finding the eyebrow. It looked like it was finding the bag area, the other side. And looking at some of the images on the computer, the IAF missed. It absolutely missed. It hit his eyebrow, and his eyebrow is nice and sharp at 2.8, and the eye isn't, which is frustrating as hell because then I switched back over to single. And when I switched over to single and I focused on the eye, then all of a sudden a big green box showed up over the face because face detect was activated.
Gotcha.
And I didn't know that was even a function. And so I don't know where those ended up focusing. So as much as I love IAF with the DSLR and I put it on the eye and lock in on the eye, I don't seem to miss. Here I seem to miss more often than not because the IAF is constantly moving.
Just a little off.
Well, it's hitting the eyebrow.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Did they have bushy eyebrows?
Actually, he did have bushy
eyebrows. He had nice eyebrows.
Yeah. I got some eyebrows that are pretty bushy as well. That's why I hide them behind these glasses. See, here they are. There they are.
But the thing I loved about that shoot is they had 3 different little mini sets. They had the old truck, like the Western-looking truck. They had horses. They had also that car, the blue teal car that the girl was in. The hard part was trying to get out of everyone's shot. Everyone's taking photos of every single scenario, and you're trying to get different, angles, and you can't because of you're getting in everyone else's shot. So I'd be over here filming Jared, and they'd be like, "Steven, move!" And I'm like,
"Did you have any reflection issues with
some people did?
Seeing photographers in the car?
A lot of people did. So someone tried the what was the big pixel shift? Is that what it's called?
Shift, yeah.
Pixel shift, which basically takes
4 pictures,
4 photos.
But so pixel shift is the one that takes 4 pictures, a half a second or 1 second apart, and what it does is it deactivates the shutter because it has to use an electronic shutter. It takes 1 picture, then the sensor shifts 1 pixel. Then it takes a picture, shifts another pixel, shifts another. So it takes 4, and then in the computer, because it would be great if it was done in the camera to create a RAW file. It has to be done in software after the fact, and it creates like a 120 megapixel photo.
A giant
RAW file with a lot more detail.
Yep. So the issue they were having with the car that had a lot of chrome and reflections is that people were constantly moving in the background. So since they are about a second apart, each picture taken, when it comes together in post, you have some weird movement in the reflection and the chrome elements. So you got to think about those things when you're doing something like pixel shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, in terms of the camera, like I say to everybody, it doesn't matter what you shoot with. You should be able to get great results. There's pros and cons to all of these cameras. Sometimes the feel of it still feels a little boxy and bricky. Trying to move the focusing point, though it does now have a joystick, is still a little bit of a pain in the ass. When I went vertical, the joystick that was on the back of the grip didn't actually move the focusing points for me. And it wasn't locked. Because all the buttons, but what's really good are all the custom function buttons.
I love the custom function buttons.
Like you could switch, what'd you switch from?
I switched.
Slow-mo, right?
Well, that's just like your C1, 2, and 3 on the top dial. You can basically, just like Canon, how it has like custom 1 and custom 2, you can preset your top dial to something specific. So what I did is I had C1 as my slow-mo option. So it's 2/50th of a second for the 120p frame rate.
Oh, nice.
Everything was already switched, so I literally just moved to 1, boom, in slow-mo. Move back to 2, and I'm now in your normal 4K, full frame, or Super 35.
How was the autofocus for video for you?
I will say I was very impressed. Very, very impressed. I haven't tried out their face detect feature, but in terms of just continuous focus and moving the focus point around, with also the touchpad, the screen, which is incredible.
Oh, that was active?
You can activate that in video mode as well.
See, I didn't use that because it's hard.
It's tough.
It's hard because my nose...
Same with me.
You Jewish?
I just mean it's still, I hold it up all the way when I'm viewing the EVF.
Yeah.
Now, the even with an ND filter on, it's still focused.
A 95 millimeter ND filter.
For that 28 to 135 powered zoom lens.
Can I, Todd, hold that thought real quick?
Yep.
EVF, I want to point out that EVFs are tremendous and great for getting your exposure for the most part.
Yep.
But when you get outside into super bright daylight or in anything brighter, it's harder to see. I was looking at a bunch of trees in the distance with the 70 to 200 2.8, and it just looked like a bunch of digital noise where leaves were because it's not as crisp and clear as what you're going to get through an optical viewfinder. But the major thing is people are like, well, you could turn the brightness up to make it brighter. Yes, you can, but then you no longer can get a good representation of what your image is supposed to look like. You then have to ride the histogram and make sure you're there, and I just think it makes it a lot more confusing because your brain is seeing the image thinking that it's perfectly exposed when actually no, because it's super duper bright, it's not going to be right.
Now, speaking of EVF, we actually recorded Jared's EVF on the A7R III with the Atomos Ninja Star, I think it's called. Atomos Ninja Star, yeah. This little guy records 1080p, ProRes 422, even HQ, and basically we hooked up the HDMI out into here and recorded the EVF, so exactly what you see, your literal point of view.
Well, and it replaces the GoPro. Now,
Correct.
We wanted it to show all the focusing points and everything, but they're seeing it right now.
Yeah, this is actually a clip, and those little black frames you see is Jared actually taking pictures.
And look how still I get when I get to take a picture.
Yep.
You can see it shake, shake, shake as I'm getting ready, but then you see how stable and still I get when I'm taking the picture. What?
Well, and it's a little hard here because the bloom was actually moving in your mid-flight, so you don't get as stable as you are like on the ground, but it's still pretty stable.
And you can see the exposure changing right there and
Correct.
everything.
Yeah.
Now, you'll notice, though, whoever's watching the live stream, that it is a very compressed, artifact, blocky-looking
Which I don't think looks
video.
that bad. Steven said that to me when I was looking at it, and I'm like, yeah.
I mean, if you compare it to the GoPro, I think the GoPro kills it, but...
Do you really?
I do.
But this is a true
This
view.
is accurate
But it's
view,
an EVF. I mean, you're recording direct out of the EVF. The only thing I don't like is we can't record the actual display options, like his focus points or shutter speed, because basically if I outputted that to this, and didn't do a clean out, it would black out the EVF and everything for Jared, so he couldn't shoot.
And
so you just threw that little Fronos photo at the bottom there.
Yeah, I just did that for now.
This is an
visual.
A9, by the way, guys, that we wanted to test.
Works on the A9 too.
Out. But so when this was plugged into my camera, I couldn't review my images.
That's the other thing.
Unless I unplugged it.
Because it reviews directly on here.
Now, normally with a DSLR, that would be a big deal because then you can't see your exposure. But knowing already through the EVF that my exposure was damn close, because, I shoot RAW, and I was also close because I could see it through the EVF.
You see the actual exposure, yeah.
I didn't really need to worry about chimping to see the image. Now, occasionally, I would stop recording on this, pull the plug so I could go back and review. I love reviewing with my eye up to the viewfinder, just because I like the EVF.
It's a loop
display.
basically. Yeah.
Oh, good one. It is a loop.
Yeah.
Todd, you were going to say something about autofocus video?
Well, just the video stuff. The viewfinder, does it flip out, flip up, flip, any flippity flip?
The EVF itself does not flip out. So the only issue I had, if I was looking through the EVF, if I had the transceiver on, the Sennheiser Lav Pack, it would hit my face sometimes. And I wouldn't be able to look really through the EVF.
So you were shooting through.
I was
through the thing.
Because normally I would shoot with a loop or something on the back of a screen on like a DSLR to see the actual exposure in like bright sunny situations. But here the EVF will show you everything.
Now, did the screen flip out like that one?
This flips out just like the A7R III.
Just that way, not
Correct.
sideways. It doesn't articulate out.
No, it does not.
It doesn't do what Canon does. Yeah, it's not an actual articulating LCD. It just tilts. But yeah, I shot video the entire week with the camera. I did actually full frame 4K 4K just to see. And I did talk to the Sony guys, and they said now it's to the point where the full frame looks just as good as the Super 35 from their mouths, not mine.
Sure.
And I haven't done really tests on it, but it looks sharp as hell. It looks great.
This was the first time either of us have used the camera.
Yeah.
So you went in blind shooting
I never
video.
used Sony camera like run and gun style for video.
Sat full frame 4K, no crop.
Full frame 4K, no crop.
We sat with this guy Dave Snyder from Sony.
Yep. Awesome guy.
The day we got the cameras, or the night we sat there for about an hour.
Went through the menu
setting
system.
up each menu setting and talking to all the Sony people that we needed to make sure we had it set for ourselves to give it the proper fair shake. Because the last thing you want is to have a menu setting that we didn't hit properly.
Exactly.
To take away from the camera.
The thing about the Sony menu system is it can be very overwhelming and confusing because there's so many options.
That's folder 3, submenu 22.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Like the electronic viewfinder, the electronic shutter part is hidden.
Yes.
It's under the video mode.
Yeah.
And I will also say this: you cannot shoot this camera above 1/8,000th of a second, even with the electronic shutter.
It's not like the A9 or the RX 100 Mark V or any of that.
The A9 you can just electronic shutter that all the way up.
Yep.
So like 1/32,000th.
But Todd, back to video, there are a lot of pro features in it, like focus peaking, zebra lines, stuff like that. Yeah. So if I went into now you can have it set too. So as soon as you go into manual focus, automatically focus peaking comes on.
You guys didn't bring one home, did you?
We did not bring. We weren't allowed to.
No, we had to give everything.
Yeah,
maybe I'd love to mess around.
We
with
might.
the video.
I think we have to probably get it one more time, especially for video purposes for the review, just so I can film some beauty shots.
Yeah.
Well, what would you think between your 5D Mark IV, if you had to choose between the 5D Mark IV for running and gunning, or
for video,
or a Sony? Yeah.
I would take this all day for video
because of the size or the EVF.
Probably because of both. The EVF and the size and the full frame 4K.
I was going to say the full frame 4K.
And again, a lot of people will still say they use the Super 35 mode. Now, that's one odd thing that I noticed on here is that every time I use the full frame lens, it would automatically switch to Super 35 mode in video, even though I didn't manually say it to, and it's not an APS-C lens. Yeah. So that was a little odd, and the Sony guys couldn't figure that out. But besides that, it was a dream to work with.
And how's the autofocus compared to the dual pixel AF?
I didn't do a direct comparison, but from what I noticed, I mean, everything seemed super sharp and in focus. Nailed it. Yeah.
I have a question, Mr. Steven.
And also,
Todd in the corner. Yep.
Do they have anything similar to the Canon Connect, like where I can watch preview on like
you know, I didn't test out that feature.
I think they do.
I'm not sure for
Just
video if they have a live view like that.
Because to me, that Canon Connect thing makes up for not having like a flip out screen on like my 5D. I'm like, oh well, that's fine because I can monitor over here with this.
And for a one-man band, it's great.
If the Sony has that autofocus, the full frame 4K, and has something similar that I can monitor, I'd be super interested in seeing that camera.
So, and you're also looking at S-Log too. I mean, they have log in it as well. So I mean,
and it didn't overheat.
Didn't overheat, and
that's a positive. Not even under the
not
even. We made a joke
under the balloon thing.
In the review, you guys will see when it's put together is. We shot for 2 hours almost in the balloon with heat coming down at us and it probably being 70, 80 degrees out. I shot 4K for that entire time. And again, full frame.
They took you up in the balloon. They're like, here, put it under the fire.
Yeah, exactly. And I had no overheating.
I will point out, none of this is sponsored by Sony at all.
No.
We don't have to do or say anything we choose to say. They do take care of the trip. Obviously, it's a press event, but they don't put any stipulations on us on what we need to do. All we were there to do was show up. They set up the shoots to use the cameras, and then we say whatever the hell it is that we want to say. That's how it works. We're not being paid by them. Now we get the trip. That's a fun trip.
Yeah.
But we got a nice water bottle.
Now, they did have a contest that they ran.
It did get a name tag.
An upside-down name tag. That's great.
I know. They printed it upside down.
They had a contest that they ran, which they told us about in the beginning of the trip. I had no idea about it.
The people that have been there before knew that they do this.
They do it every time. Now, Nikon didn't do that, I know, on their trip.
Damn you, Nikon.
I think it's a great idea because it really gets you to shoot and try and turn something around in a couple of days.
I just forgot about I didn't even realize for the photos that there were categories to focus on.
There was like best Sedona shot, iconic Sedona, and something else.
And decisive moment.
Decisive moment.
If I knew that, I probably would have picked a couple of different images that I posted, but I didn't. We were so focused on doing work.
The review.
Right.
On the video side, you want to talk about your video?
So basically, each person could submit 5 photos or 1 video. The video clip.
Both.
Or both, yeah, which is what we did as Frono's photo. Jared submitted 5 photos. I submitted 1 video clip. The video clip had to be under 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and it could be about anything as long as you shot it on the Sony a7R III, I guess that week, I assume.
Yeah, it was at that event.
At that event. So we shot B-roll all 4 days, and I had all these epic clips, and basically it came down to me editing it, and I had 0 time like during the day each day because we were out from probably
5 in the morning. We got up at 5 for the balloon day, and then did night photography. You did more night.
I did
photography.
astro every night
until 11.
So I was out from 6 to like midnight, pretty much. 6 to midnight. And I had to edit. It was due Thursday, the last day, at 10 a.m. So I woke up at 5 a.m., tried to cull through like 4 or 5 hours of footage.
Yeah, I was sleeping.
And put something together in a cohesive manner. And I came up with a pretty good clip, I think, for, again, the time limited. And the other hard part was I tried to download sound effects from Audio Blocks, music from Epidemic Sound. Our internet connection was so bad that one song downloading took about an hour and a half almost. Did it? Yeah.
Wow.
So I downloaded that first.
I would have run to the Sony office. It would have downloaded quicker.
I don't think it would have been that much quicker, though. But I made sure to look up the music first when I first got up because I knew that it would take that long to download. Luckily, it downloaded. It all worked out. And I put together a little like 50-second clip, which Dan will run right now.
Let's see. Stop making excuses and let's just see it and judge it.
And you guys won't hear the music.
Can they hear us?
I don't think they can hear us right now, no. Filmed on the a7R III.
So I thought it was good.
End. Yeah, I mean, again,
good,
for the time allotted, I think it turned out pretty well. And we'll probably post that separately on the YouTube channel if you guys heard us in the background talking.
You can submit it to Rough Cut Reviews.
And I can submit it to Todd's new Rough Cut Reviews.
Up now
by
on,
Todd Wolf.
on the Facebook.
Yep,
my
up
Facebook.
on the Facebook Frono's photo.
It's pretty cool. I like your Rough Cut Reviews.
Yeah, I've gotten more for it, and send me your thing. I'll review it.
I will, as long as you don't tear it apart.
How can people send you their
thing,
Get
super
Todd?
Critical.
They could submit their videos less than 5 minutes to roughcutreviews@gmail.com.
And I probably would consider that a rough cut in the end because, again, I barely had any time on it.
You did it in like 4 hours all in.
Well, it took me 3 hours just to like get the clips culled down, and then it took me maybe 45 minutes to actually edit it down to that.
You tried to make it super cool putting the bars on it, the anamorphic.
I tried, so I also I tried to make it a little more cinematic looking, and so I didn't win. Either of us, we didn't win.
Neither of us won, but the video submissions were very good. Stevens could have very easily have won. They did call him out as doing something really, really good.
So I was basically like in the top 4 video selections.
What did they like specifically about the video that you recall?
Of which one? Mine?
Yours.
They just, I don't know. They just said it was really good.
It was really, It showcased a lot of the features. Like, we tried to come up with a basic concept of
being in the
air, slow motion, that type of stuff, and so
looks nice, man.
You know, a lot of the stuff that Steven was shooting was obviously for the real world review part, so it wasn't dedicated to just going there to make it.
And the people that won were basically 2 people that like dedicated the entire week to shooting the video for the contest.
Oh, they went in.
Oh, they went in.
To win
they
that
went
thing.
in. Yeah,
they went all in.
So with me, I just kind of had
next time. Now you know next time.
Yeah, well now I know.
Yeah.
Like they knew about it.
Maybe we'll do that next time.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we'll be like, here we're gonna do Steven. Let's
because the prizes were great. It was like a full frame Sony lens.
Pro Photo 101.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the Sony trip. Great trip.
That was a Sony trip. All right, that was a Sony trip. That guy was like an Adonis.
Who?
That guy.
Which guy?
The guy.
The cowboy guy.
Oh.
The cowboy guy.
I was talking. He wore
Jared
this.
can't stop thinking about him.
this
So
awesome
basically,
leather jacket.
The girl and the guy were like together doing the Western photo shoot, and Jared's like, "Can you just go away?"
I did. I did. Equal
Wait,
opportunity.
you
I shooed the girl
Shoot
away.
the girl?
Literally shoot her away. Yeah.
There was a reason for it.
And she was beautiful. Yeah.
You'll see in the tighter shots, the skin was a little tough for tight portraits.
He's pretty though.
No, he was
You
pretty.
should talk to your therapist about him.
Thanks, Todd.
You're welcome.
But thank you, Sony. Great trip.
Yeah, thank you for that trip. It was a lot of fun hanging with everybody.
We'll have a full-on real-world review in the near future of the
Hopefully-
A7R.
hopefully
That'll
we
be
get
done
invited
tomorrow,
again.
right, Steven?
Oh, it's
That'll be
already done.
tomorrow?
Already,
All
I
right.
woke up at 5 a.m., edited it in
Awesome.
4 hours, yeah.
Great.
Whatever,
Thank you.
Todd.
Thank you.
Speaking of fast turnaround times, let's talk about good fro, bad fro.
Yes!
We came up with this
Nice,
concept.
Very nice. What do you call
Nice
that?
transition,
That's called a
yeah.
segue.
Very, very. Yeah, segue.
Segue.
That's
That's
Segway.
very nice.
Segway. S-E-A-G way.
There's my Christmas card for this year.
We're a couple.
Oh, look
couple.
at
Is he
them.
Is he pregnant?
Todd said he wants to put
It's
the belly
a
down a
boy.
little more. I'm like, dude, keep it up. I think it looks great.
Yeah, I tied the back of my neck, like tied it up back here
fat
to
suit.
lift it up.
Yeah.
You have the there.
Oh, look at that.
So let
boy.
me lead
Maternity
into
photo
what
shoot.
this was.
It's a boy.
If you haven't seen, we made a video that was a sponsored video.
Yes.
We wanted to have fun with it. That's our goal. And
Fun and informative.
made sure that I added in the video that this is sponsored, just so that people get it. Now, our goal was to, every once in a while a sponsored video opportunity comes along, and if it's something that you want to make, then we try to do it and be very upfront about it. And so that's why it was flat out, this said, brought to you by, right in the video. But the whole thing was we had this cool concept, and we wanted to have fun with it, and I think that's exactly what we did by doing the skit. The idea was trying to explain something, and I was like the Mac versus the PC type thing.
Exactly.
Where I'm the good fro
Yeah.
versus the bad fro. So one is quick, one is slow. And we came up with a bunch of concepts. And I think Todd's concept for the 1+1 was really good. He's like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I
Now-
thought that was good.
This took quite a while to film too, because there was a lot of bloopers going on, a lot of mess ups, a lot of flubs.
Mine didn't take a while.
Well, Jared was like 2 seconds.
I'm like,
yeah.
I'll keep it. I'll just say what needs to be said.
Todd, on the other hand, his improv skills, he just went to town for like an
Well,
hour.
I didn't know what I was going to. I don't know. I wanted to
just
give
kept-
you options.
Yeah,
I
you
like
gave me
to give
too many options.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
the phone, good thing I bought that after having pho.
Seriously.
But we do actually have a little bit of a blooper reel with you guys messing around, and yeah, you'll see that in just a second when Dan gets that loaded
And don't
up.
forget, Q&A is coming up in just a matter of minutes.
Yes.
Deanne? Blooper
Roll that
reel.
reel.
and bloopers.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Don't hide. You can't hide. I'm not. I'm gonna be like that, dude. Come on now. I wouldn't hurt you.
You got so bad.
You went so close. What's going on?
You were supposed to fall out though. You were so close. Let me see that. It feels like
Wait, hold on. I'm getting an email. Hello.
I love when you
Yes,
start
I'm
flipping
still
it.
downloading the.
No, I can't do that. I've never seen that before.
Oh, that was
totally
your nutty
backwards.
fours. Music as well. That's gonna take a moment. Hold on. How about this?
This is when you're singing.
It's my gangster whistle skills.
Is that all right? That's a little vibrato. I added that in just for you.
There you go.
Those are some of the bloopers. So that's
Just
the
a
fun
few
stuff.
that we could actually show.
It's nice to do the fun stuff.
Yeah,
I think we should personally do more good fro, bad fro.
Yeah,
in
I like that
general.
concept
I
a
think
lot.
that's a funny thing we could do for anything.
Yep.
Cameras,
And we-
bad things to do as a photographer, good things to do as a photographer.
We turned around that whole video in like
2 days.
Yeah,
days,
I
yeah.
think if people
It's
like
great.
those characters, whether or not you're into the processor thing or not is one thing, but if you like those characters,
And
you
it,
can do
it's
that easily.
it also comes down to we're not a huge like computer tech channel, so we tried to make it something lighthearted and funny,
Yep.
but still get the message across of
Yeah.
what Intel Optane is. And I think
that was the point.
It was
And
fun.
what I'll say to anybody about sponsored
Content.
content is we are going to be straight up honest anytime there's sponsor. You have to be.
As we've always been.
You have to be if there's sponsored content. But just understand that sponsored content helps keep everything free for everybody watching.
helps to bring your RAWtalk right now.
If we didn't take some of those things from time to time, you know, it's also we don't run Patreons. People run. Did you see the Kickstarter?
Although I should.
Todd's like, I might do it for my channel.
I'm about to do it right now.
People's Kickstarter just announced something called Drip.
Drip.
Is that
It's like Patreon. It's like where you can
drip.
Get
a shot for that.
You can drip support people, meaning you can fund them for projects. But keep dripping support. But I don't.
That's an odd name.
I don't believe in doing the Patreon method as of right now. I say that
a year later. Sign up for my Patreon.
But I don't. No. The thing is, we sell products. We've got Fro 50 off, the Frono's photo guides.
Yeah, the guides are big.
That's how you support the channel. That's a way that we generate revenue so that Steven has a job and health coverage.
So Morgan
Dan
has food.
Has a job.
Morgan
needs food.
Yeah.
Well, now she buys her own lobster because of her channel.
Her own lobster.
She's good.
Right. So,
Filet.
I mean, most people understand the fact that if you take you do a sponsored video, it's for a reason. Other people complain about it, which is fine. You can complain about it, but everything that you get is free. Nobody's forcing you to watch, but thank you for your negative comments. You want to get to memes?
I think it's that time.
Oh,
and then we're coming to flying solo questions, Q&A.
And I do want to say Gear of the Week was pretty much
my
that.
iPhone.
Yeah, your iPhone.
So when it comes to memes, you can send memes into singwheelofro at gmail.com, which obviously makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Sing.
Complete sense.
Wheel of Fro
Nothing to do with memes at all, but
memes.
Yep, perfect.
And the first one we have is from a regular submitter.
Where'd they get that
it's
video?
From Dan. From Dan Hirowich.
It's like nobody's seen this video yet.
I know.
Mine's bigger than yours. Whimper sound.
Dan showed me this last week, and I'm like,
what's
Jared's
funny
gonna...
is he actually sends them in to the email. Like he doesn't send them to me privately.
Well, I told him to
send
send it in
to the email.
Yeah, because that's from an upcoming review of the 100 to 400 Sigma.
I said, I'm like, Jared's definitely gonna know it's from you because no one's seen that video.
Well, it took a second, but I'm like, there's no way.
That's funny.
She's crushing you.
That's a good one. Yeah, she was really nice. She helped us out a lot for that shoot.
So the next one is from Philip Lang. This is Frono's Photo Guide to Wiener Enlargement. Don't know how appropriate this is nowadays, but ask me about my wiener.
What is Jared doing on the side?
I can't tell.
It's just him doing like sizes. Like, you know, all this sort of thing.
That's great.
But
so inappropriate.
Ask me about my wiener.
Always suggestions for Jared's video guides.
If you get, yeah.
If you have a video guide suggestion, please send it in.
And the final one I have this week is when is from Will Perez. Is when she shoots raw.
Oh, this is Chris Gampett's photo, right?
Yeah. This is when she shoots raw.
When she
Not
shoots
sure
raw.
why you're jumping over her.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
That's great.
So you can keep submitting those.
What's the best one? Definitely not Dan's.
Oh, I thought Dan's was. I thought Dan's was good.
Well, I'm not giving him a guide.
Does Dan get a guide then?
Yeah. No, absolutely. He pays for everything.
Well, obviously, I think the enlargement one is fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he gets a guide for a guide.
So is that all this week?
Yeah, that's everything.
So again,
Philip Lang, we can maybe give you a guide of your choice.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
Boom.
do it. Philip Lang, congrats.
Congratulations.
And again, one more time, if you guys want to send them in, singwheeloffro at gmail.com.
At gtothemail.com.
G to the mail. Is it that time?
It's time for the new section.
All right, I got to bust out the phone.
Your phone.
This new section is where we're taking for the rest of the show, probably 12 to 15 minutes, your questions from the right-hand side of the thing. I don't know if anybody's done any super chats. I don't even know where to look for a super chat, to be honest with you. I'm going to scroll back up, but start asking your questions right here.
Right meow.
And we're going to start answering them. Let's see.
And this is going to be a very loose part of the show because we are going into this blind pretty much.
Well, yeah, so somebody said they liked the wiener one.
There you go.
But also,
it's probably take a minute for the comments to come through because we have a delay.
Definitely, there's a little bit of a delay. And I also have it on slow chat mode, meaning I don't even know what that means. Let's scroll back up through here.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
No, Dan.
Trucker Life said he hates it when he gets the drip. Me too.
Does the D850 have better color IQ? How sharp is the 24 to 105 on a high pixel sensor? Again, I don't get super duper technical on that
That'd be
stuff.
like DP review guys answering that question.
Never had any issues. Let's see. I've been using the Sony 100 to 400G Master. Where is it? G Master for football, and I'm impressed. Great lens. They had a bunch of those out there, but I didn't shoot with it. You're going to definitely need a lot of light for that one.
Dude, I had Jim Fisher was doing star trails with at 400 millimeters f5.6 at night. So he had 0 light. I think he was at like 51,000 too, ISO.
Todd, question for Todd. If you were back in college, would you choose photography as a means to make money?
Photography? Maybe. I mean, I know when I was in college, I went to an art school. There were bands and people doing all that sort of stuff. There are always bands and people, creatives, like doing stuff like that. They need photos. They need video, too. I'd be more prone to do video personally, but that's what I do.
So
but yeah, I would. I mean, I used to throw parties and rap, so I mean, I would definitely shoot video. I would do some sort of side hustle in college.
Oh, I could send a super chat, I guess. I guess I'm not on the right place to be looking for that. Next question from Anderson Nordic. Is it worthy to buy the Sony a7R III instead of the Nikon D500 for sports and wildlife? They're two different type of cameras. They're not even priced close to the same.
Well, they both do 10 frames per second, right?
They do, but one is full frame, one is not. One is also like
45 megapixels. One is what's the D500?
I don't even, to be honest,
20?
I don't even know
Isn't
how many
that the same
megapixels.
as the, yeah.
And also, it's a full frame camera that does full frame 4K. It's also more expensive, so I don't think you can compare both of those.
I mean, it's nearly almost double the price.
Yeah. So I'm scrolling through.
Wolfpack Woodcrafts asked, what is a great Canon lens for night shooting when you're camping?
Oh, talk about that Rokinon.
So I was using from Luminous Landscape. He hooked me up with his Rokinon manual focus 14mm lens.
We'll see you inside the next Luminous Landscape.
But I was using that lens for astrophotography, and I will say it was pin sharp, even compared to the 16 to 35 G Master from Sony. I felt like the Rokinon was way sharper. Obviously, it's not a zoom lens, has less optics in it, but it was really, really super duper sharp. So wider the better for astro. I would say below 20 millimeters. That's at least what also Drew, the astrophotography guy, was saying too.
Yeah. So let's see. Somebody's like, do you think Sony will come out with the a7 III? Well, of course they will. Does the next question from Daniel Crotty, does the a7R III buffer quickly, like this, I guess, quickly fill up like the previous version?
Yeah, do you have any buffer issues?
No. So the only time I really unloaded was when the helicopter was spinning. Get to the chopper. I just held it down for a second. No. And the way that I shoot, even shooting RAW to both cards, because I shot RAW to both cards, didn't have any buffer issues whatsoever. But part of that is I don't motor drive through everything. I do quick bursts. If you're going to motor drive
that's where you need that
through
high
everything,
frame rate.
the high frame, 10 frames a second is for quick bursts, 2 shots, 3 shots. Then you wait, and you're waiting for action. You're not just holding it down for 37 seconds and filling your buffer. I've never really filled a buffer unless I was trying to fill a buffer. Let's see.
Someone was asking what are you using for the current wide shot to pan back and forth. That's just the D750 with a Nikon 24-70, and it is the Red Rock Micro
one man
crew slider.
So it's
a great slider, automated and everything.
Steve there.
Well, I'll get to hold it.
Yep.
Hold your finger on it. How's the startup time? I didn't notice any startup time that was an issue. The only thing I did notice is sometimes it takes a little longer to format the cards, but that's not something that you'll ever really need to wait for.
And back to the buffer issue too. I do like that you can actually see on the in the EVF like where your buffer is, if it's still writing to the card or not, instead of having to take a look at the back of the camera and see if the red light's blinking.
We've got 85 millimeter or 105 prime for portraits. I'm taking a 105 all day for portraits. Let's see. This Russian name that I can't read says, ask the question to Sony why they removed Play Mobile apps from Sony a7R III. Are they going to add it later via firmware? Okay, we'll ask them. Anybody see any questions?
Question for Steve asked, in your ballooning video, was that slow-mo of Jared in 4K And if so, how much did you slow it down?
It was only in 1080p. That's what they offer in their highest frame rate for slow motion. It's 120 frames per second.
At 4K?
It doesn't do 60. It's just 4K 30.
Gotcha.
I'm guessing that they're going to save that for like their A7S III, if that ever comes out, which it probably will, because the A7S III was always more their video-centric camera.
So what was the frame rate?
It was 4K 24p, and then I also did 1080 at 120 frames per second, which is already baked in, slowed down in camera. And I will say the slow motion seemed much sharper than like the Nikon D850 slow motion. It looked very, very clean.
It looked really nice.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
That video was basically 99% slow motion too.
Let's see. Thanks again for the great review of my site. My question: do you think Nikon will announce the D5S sometime soon? Will they announce it soon? I guess that would come around February. If I had to guess, February, March is when something like that would happen.
Would anyone from the Fro team ever switch to Sony? That's a question.
So we talked about this with Sony, and I was like, yeah, back that money truck up. You back that thing up. So
I mean, if you give us a bunch of lenses, it's the lens investment at a certain point.
For me personally, I'm too invested in Canon right now.
Yeah.
I have 7 Canon lenses.
If they offered to switch out everything, though they can't switch out an 85-1.2 or a 50-1.2, if they offered to switch you today for whatever you want, lens for lens, you name it,
I would have to test out
and stills too for shooting concerts.
Shoot first, but I mean, in terms of video all day.
That's what I was just thinking. If they made that offer to me,
yeah,
and we have that Canon Connect similar thing,
doesn't sound like that's in there though.
But okay,
they have the Sony Play Memories app.
Full frame 4K is very tempting because there's nothing worse than setting up a shot and being like, oh, I got to put it in 4K and now your shot's boned.
Yep.
So here's what it would take for me. If I needed to shoot silent,
which is incredible.
Photojournalism.
Yeah.
Then there is no beating the Sony A9 for shooting silent.
Of course.
I love my D5. No question about it. I was asked recently, why do I use a D5 and not a D850? It deals with low light capability and build quality.
Specific for your type of photography.
For the type of stuff that I shoot, it's build quality, it's focus speed, because the focus is better on a D5 than a D850. It's more accurate, it's faster. The D850 focus is still very good, but I got the build quality, low light capability, focus speed. It's just a rugged camera. That's why I love shooting with that. An A9 is what I would want to shoot. I don't know yet that the 12-24 that Sony has is that good. The distortion was really big, and I don't know about sharpness, but I have to look at those images. But that was just based off of quickly looking at some of those verticals where the balloon was being blown up, and I was shooting straight up vertical, filling the frame.
Yeah,
I couldn't find sharpness. I still have trouble with focus on the mirrorless cameras.
Okay. I still think when you get below 14 millimeters, even if it's a rectilinear lens, it's still pretty much distorted at the edges for the most part. It might say rectilinear and your lines are straight. It's still, for the most part, a little bit fisheye.
Yeah.
Let's see. Porter Fairborn. I'm a photographer. Yes, I'm a photographer, and people in my high school really like my work. I get asked to do a lot of Instagram photos for people. If I was to charge, how much should I charge? The answer is nothing. You're not going to get paid.
$20 an hour.
You're not getting paid.
I'd ask him for $20.
You're still not getting paid.
I don't know, but if he takes good pictures and people want to look like awesome people on Instagram, $20 every day of the week.
If they got the $20, if you're in that type of place and they have the $20, then sure.
But I'm close to you. I mean, I wouldn't be like $1,000, $100, $20.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Or buy me lunch for the week.
Especially with this Instagram, people want to look awesome in their social media world that we live in.
For sure.
$20 is nothing.
Somebody goes, any recommendations for renting out your own personal gear? There's apps for that, but I would never do that.
I personally would never do it because people, when you rent gear, they usually treat it like shit. They don't give a shit
people
because
don't care about your
because
stuff.
it's not your
rental car. It's like a rental car.
Never.
I mean, there's and especially with when we're at these press events, and people will test out the ruggedness of the camera. They'll literally like throw it in dirt or in water or something like that to test out the durability of it and the all of that. Yeah,
Let's see. We've got Fro. So torn on camera upgrades between looking at the D750 for a long while, but then you recommended the D500. Do you think I would regret not going full frame? Again, it comes down to lenses. The D750 is great. It's coming up on the end of its life, but if you can get a good one, a refurb, then go for it. Currently have an 80D but want full frame 6D Mark II, not much of an upgrade, and a 5D Mark IV, old technology. Thoughts, please? Well, if that's what you think about Canon, then switch. Either go Nikon or go Sony at that point, but I have no problem with the 6D Mark II. I don't think it's the greatest camera since sliced bread. I absolutely don't buy into that the 5D Mark IV is terrible just because it has that older technology. It's still a very viable, great camera, and yes, I agree that some of that technology is older, but yeah.
Brian says you can monitor the shot from the Sony cameras with phones and tablets. My question is, can you actually monitor the video as well? Is it just the still photo, like the live view?
Yeah.
Or can you, while you're recording video, still monitor it?
Because that's everything
like start
I use
and stop
my 5D for.
from the tablet,
I monitor,
focus,
I
all
like
of that.
Yeah, I like to have that control.
I assume they do, but I don't know. So, Brian, if you can hook us up with that information, that'd be great in the comments.
The Jared Long asks, the A7R III good for hybrid video and photo shooter? Yeah, it's a competent camera any way you slice it, but so is the D850 is a competent camera any way you slice it. These cameras are toss-ups. Maybe, just maybe, we need to take both out on an actual shootout and run it through 3 scenarios and see what wins. How's that sound, Steven?
I like that.
Whatever
Sounds
you
like a
want
lot
to do.
of work, right?
I like
Yeah,
that.
it's definitely a lot of work, yeah.
So I'm still looking for where that super chat stuff is.
Oh, I don't know. Are you signed into your actual Fronos photo account?
I am. It says we're streaming live and we're healthy.
Someone said, I suppose the A9 is the next version of the A7 II. How are you sure there would be an A7 III? I don't think that is true at all.
It's it says no super chats.
Completely different.
Somebody do
camera.
a super chat for $1 or something. I want to see what it looks like.
I also thought the A7 III would be out before the A7R III, mainly because at launch, the A7 II came out before the A7R II.
Yeah.
But they flipped it around, I think, to compete with the D850 for Photo Plus.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
Looking at picking up a telephoto, if you were to pick between the Canon 100-400 and the Sigma 150-600 Sports, which one would you choose and why?
Are they similar pricing?
Well, one's a hell of a lot heavier than the other.
For sure.
150-600 is heavy as hell. The 100, they may be similar prices. I'm not really sure. The one's also a 5.6 all the way through, I believe, and the other is a 6.3 all the way out at the end. The Sigma Sport is very good. It's just it's heavy. It's also, there's a difference between 100 to 400. It's lighter. That's a toss up, man. It all depends on what you really are shooting. Anything else in here?
There's a lot of comments.
Yeah, lots of comments.
I'm reading them. Where can I? Oh, that's somebody asking somebody else a question. Any word on Nikon dropping price of the 70-200 anytime soon? Nope. I don't get words like that until anything happens. So
Someone's asking for a monitor that is perfect for photo and video and does not break the bank, preferably a 4K
look, there's super
monitor.
chats.
Don't need a giant 30-inch monitor.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, look at that.
So somebody gave $2.
I see that.
Wait, and they didn't even ask a question. They just
2
thanked
people.
you.
We've got Wolf.
Well, he said, "Hey, Fro, you need money." So, well, yeah.
All right, Keith, email me. Keith, email me. I'll hook you up with a video guide or
That's
something.
great.
Wow, look at that. People are doing it. I didn't know it actually worked. So
Oh, it wasn't on before, it looks like.
No, it was on.
Someone said it
People
isn't
aren't
on,
giving-
and then
people
that's
are
when
like,
on
I'm
the
not
super
giving
chats.
Jared money.
It's on for me. Like it's active. Obviously, people did it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
So thanks for the lens suggestion. You're welcome, Wolfpack Woodcraft. Maybe I have a new idea for a show where you just pay me money to answer your questions.
Jeez. Willie, thanks for the
When
all
will
these
Todd,
people.
when will Tad get new glasses? You know what, Chris?
Canadian $2. We got Canadian
These are
$2.
fairly new.
That's like $1.37.
I want to know, yeah, Todd, when you're
Thank
going
you,
to get
guys.
glare-free glasses. Because that
These are
glare,
these are supposed to be glare-free.
they're definitely not. I can see it right
Well,
now.
when I go up like this right at the thing.
They're not as
These-
bad as your other ones that are
These
purple
were
tinted.
expensive to get.
Those ones are great. They're still a little glary, but they're
Well, they have a blue
You
glare.
don't want to know
Yeah.
how much these glasses cost. These have vinyl records on the frames.
yeah.
Shut up,
That's
Chris.
dumb. That's really
Sony
dumb.
can do live video monitoring with record button from the phone or tablet. I was in video mode for the A7S2, and the only thing I can
That's good
control
to know.
exposure.
Only thing I control is exposure,
that's a tough
comp,
one,
and
then.
zoom. Okay, so they can't pre-focus. It looks like.
I appreciate you guys testing
out
that super chat thing.
Thanks,
really
Brian. I
do.
appreciate
Holy
that comment.
Jeez.
It's been there the whole time. Oh, it has
$10.
$10. What? I think you have to take your shirt off for that.
Woo! Dinner's
Oh my gosh!
No.
It's turned into a strip club.
Oh my God, that's a great idea. I wonder if that's against the rules and regulations.
$1 for more.
No, it is on like Twitch.
$1 for every
You can't,
article of
like, take your
clothing
clothes
taken
off
off.
and all that.
Put user in timeout. You can do that. No, thank you, Ed Garat. I feel like I'm on Chatterbait.
Nathan Pratt's asking, can we get real talk?
Yeah, you can get real talk, and then make sure that there's super chat option.
Ooh, yeah.
2 more Canadian dollars.
All right.
Actually, it's $1.57 on conversion. So thank you, Kareem, and thank you, Harrison Boyd. Hit the
Harrison
dollar
Ford,
signs.
what?
P.S. You owe me $2.
Well, that's one way to get your question.
It is.
at.
That's how you get your question seen.
But no one's actually asked a question in the
No.
super chat. It's been all thank yous.
They just want us to yell their names.
yeah,
go,
right.
Whoa!
All right. No pre-focus.
I would give $20
Bryce
if
just,
Jared keeps his
answered and
clothes
responded to that.
Oh, so I'm not gonna comment back to this person by saying their name, who's asking why people are giving money. It's just to see that it actually works. $5 from Jason Zondor.
Thanks
So,
for everything
you're
guys
welcome.
do. Jason.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Jason.
Justin just commented.
I
I haven't
I'm
had.
thanking you. I don't get the money.
I haven't had the pleasure in using any high-res Sonys just yet. Is it harder to show to get a super sharp image with high-res images? Now we've noticed this with the D850.
Oh yes.
That you have to use a much higher shutter speed to get something in focus or something sharp.
Whereas with the
Really?
with
like
the Sony
handheld wise,
Really?
even
I will
on a
say-
tripod, we've had to use a much higher shutter speed. Yeah,
Well,
I would
we've-
say double the shutter.
a lot of the stuff seems to be out of focus, or just motion kind of blurred. Now with the Sony, you've got the built-in thing. You got the built-in stabilizer.
Correct, the steady
so
shot.
That's really good. Question for Jared. Hey, Jared, I need a smartphone at the moment more than a DSLR. Which smartphone should I go for best photo? Galaxy or Huawei? I pick a phone. I mean, seriously, at that point, I really don't know. But so one of the things that would be super cool is doing a call-in show. I'm not begging for money in the least, but if people want to ask questions, and I guess that's why they do super chat. It's a shame. I wonder if what's his name would ever do super chat. That
Who?
That the big YouTuber guy who added 10 million in like a couple months.
I don't know who that you're talking about.
Logan Paul. I wonder how tweens get access to give super chat money.
Yeah, because how do you have to probably link up
How
your
would you give money?
bank
Would you
account
have to
or
have
something?
your PayPal?
Yeah,
attached to it or
PayPal,
something?
credit
It's
card.
not. Oh yeah. I'm not sure how they do it. But somebody says I'll fly to Philly to buy a zip up. I haven't made any yet. I have to
saw a
make some
couple of
more.
comments about the zip-up hoodies and regular hoodies.
Why do you never talk about the Fuji X-T2 in these conversations?
We did.
We did a
reviewed
real
it.
world review of it
Yeah.
that most people didn't watch.
That's got over 100,000 views now.
Oh, it does?
They always build up after about a year. Yeah.
So that camera was very good too, but at 4,000 it became Swiss cheese because it's a smaller sensor camera. Yeah. How many words can you type in super chat? It is dependent on how much you pay. Oh, really?
Oh.
I had no idea.
My Gmail asks,
Yeah, Jake Paul.
what are our plans for Thanksgiving?
Fro knows Thanksgiving party.
You going to your dad's?
I'll go to my brother's, I think.
Here we go. Willie just asked, have you heard much about the Red Phone? Thanks, Fro. Is that out yet?
The only thing I heard from the Red Phone is what Marquez Brownlee
MKBHD
has done, and also from Heather, who posted. She works for them. She posted how amazing the holographic screen is,
which we still haven't really seen a preview of that yet, have we?
So Alexander asked Jared, what are you shooting nowadays? Just concerts, shoots, or weddings too? No weddings. It's a lot of the stuff that becomes review stuff for the website. Yeah. Somebody had somebody get a $300 super chat.
Wow.
Well, who wants to take us to lunch? No, I'm
Wolfpack Woodcraft does.
I know. I'm not serious, but if
I just
people
like him because he's Wolfpack.
People do want to do that. That is cool. How much longer for transfer speed for the Pixel Shift? The The pixel shift took a second. It wasn't that bad. It's saving
just one,
4 RAW files.
It's 1 second increments, or you can extend that to
30-second increments, which doesn't make any sense.
But basically, yeah, it's probably like 7 seconds all in. It's really not that long.
Somebody asked about an iShoot RAW onesie. The truth of the matter is, I have a couple of them for infants.
Does Dan's kid have one?
I don't know.
And there was a dog shirt, too.
There were dog shirts.
And
Dan,
I put it on Chet for a while, and he was like, get this off me.
Is there still an iShoot RAW bib down there? 2? Did you take one home? Yes. Good.
Oh, I thought Dan was like, no, I don't want that crap in my house.
Brosis Photography, thank you for your super chat. This super chat's pretty cool.
That's wild.
In all honesty, I've seen a webcam before, on the internet, those webcam shows. It feels just like that, except my clothes are on. Because people are always like, thanks, big man 67. Oh, that's Todd
69.
Wolf.
Oh, my goodness.
I want to say it.
I just sent you 5 pounds, by the way.
Please take off your shirt.
Fabian Bro, send you 5 pounds.
Oh, somebody sent us 5 pounds. Fabian Bros. Oh, well, it didn't pop on the mind. Steven and Fro, would you recommend the Sigma Art 24 to 72.8 with IS versus the Canon 24 to 72.8 version 1 or 2? Need for photo and video. I'm still all day long. That Canon 24 to 70 is awesome.
Version 2.
Yes.
Version
2.
1, I mean, it's still sharp, but I've had issues with it for sure. I haven't personally tested out the Sigma Art 24 to 70, so I can't comment on that. But I do love the Canon version 2.
Chris Reichelt says, will you come to Saskatchewan for a shoot I will host? One day. Your $5 Canadian is worth $4.12. Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you.
Would you ever review crazy tech like Phase 1 100? Greg Boyko.
Sure,
asks.
why not? Sure, why not?
Send it to us.
Is that about it? You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think we should probably wrap this
good.
up. Yeah.
That was fun. So, guys, while we're sitting here, do you like the live chat part of the show? Should we just get a whole dedicated show to live chat at some point?
I'd be fine doing a whole dedicated show.
I would be fine tuning in. Thanks.
Or if we just keep it down to like 10 minutes at the end of every RAWtalk, I'm fine with that as well. It's just a little more...
Brosius. Maybe we come up with, I don't know, a nighttime thing. Or you guys do the live.
As long as beers are involved.
Real talk.
I'm in.
Real.
Have you checked out Luminar by MacFun? Haven't checked it out just yet. Sony app does work on video. You can also change some of the settings. Yeah, so we're interested. I love this chat to do answer questions and stuff. Hey, you're welcome, Chris. Thanks for your dollars.
It's a shame that that the chat does not stay up after the fact on YouTube.
Yeah, so if you guys would like, after this goes down and then the video starts processing on YouTube, you can then go put more comments there. So you like this? You like this? Okay, yeah. I'm glad
should we
you guys
continue
enjoy it.
doing the Q&A section?
I also saw somebody say that they liked the characters we did for the Intel thing, Jared, and we should do more.
Cool.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Harrison Boyd, for your $2 Canadian. Live chat is a major key.
Sorry, I couldn't give more. Sorry.
No, it's sorry. Live chat is the greatest. Thank you for answering my
I mean,
question.
live chat is essentially the reason for going live, to interact with the audience for the most part. So I'm glad we can somehow incorporate it into RAWtalk. It's just we really have no one to monitor comments during the show.
Which is fine. I'd rather leave it so that we can just do it
Sure,
at the end.
but it's a shame when we're actually talking about something, if there's a relevant question
If you
at
think
the
of a
time.
good one, ask at
be
the end and then give Jared $1.
Yeah,
So
just save the
Super
question.
Flow Freak says,
Jared
now
$1.
do you get the money from Super Chat or does Google? The way that I think it works is Google takes a percentage of it. And that's about it.
Super chat.
Super chat.
We're going to get a cut of that, right? Right, Todd?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Right?
you get taken out to lunch.
Yeah.
More often than not. All right, guys. So we're going to do our sign-offs. Anything you'd like to say, Todd?
I have a new video about 4K on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/cheesesteak.
Do you? I don't even think, because we had zero.
Why you should be shooting 4K.
We basically had zero
Thanks, Dave.
connection again at Arizona, so
Yeah.
I didn't get to see anything posted.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
And then you'll probably have a rough cut review of that Sony video
I
soon.
can't wait to trash your
To
video.
rip it apart.
I actually have a good 6 other videos. Like, I've got a good amount, but some of them, I'm usually looking at ones that I'm like, okay, I can be helpful to this person, and it's a topic I want to discuss with the audience as a whole that I think is a good thing to discuss with the other editors.
Gotcha.
So I want to let you guys know we will not be doing a show next week because it's the holidays.
Yeah.
But wish you guys a happy holidays. Steven, anything you need to add?
That is it. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Maybe.
Well,
Probably.
Jared, you should just jump on.
I should just jump on.
Just jump on and just do it. Just do a live chat.
I would need
after
to,
the show?
Just in general.
No, not tonight,
No.
but when I feel like it.
His
I rather
his own RAWtalk.
I mean, we have the live setup now where it's just click of a button and you're ready to go.
So basically what would happen is you just come in and hit, or I need to know how to turn it on.
Well, at that point, if there's no cutting between or switching angles,
it's just that angle.
I could literally monitor well, you'd be monitoring comments yourself, I guess.
I'd be monitoring myself if I just want to come in and talk. So I need a quick explanation one day, just written up. What do I do?
Can I be
wait,
here
of
when
this?
Yeah.
Oh my!
I don't need to hit record. All I need to do is just be able to go live.
Sure,
and leave it
but
up.
you still need to turn on everything and double check everything.
That's not hard to do.
Wait till you have to troubleshoot something.
What if I just had a Sony
Which
camera?
Dan knows it happens almost every time we go live.
I love getting
Something
troubleshooting
happens.
conversations with Jared about editing.
Jared will be calling on the phone.
This is so stupid.
Why isn't it working?
Why is this so complicated?
Why do you have? All right.
But I'll tell you how. I'll explain it.
So thank you guys very much. This is RAWtalk episode 233. That's it. Jared PolandFronosPhoto.com. See ya.
Peace.